Ah, what a beautiful day. Except I'm hungry. And you know what? I don't know what to eat. Oh, I know. I can call and place an order to go. I wonder if Good Burger's available.
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
Hi, yes. I would like to get a Good Burger with good cheese, good fries, and a good shake. And also, do you guys have a very good burger as your special?
The dude.
Wait, what?
She's the
Dude, that's not even the answer.
For us, dude. Hey, I'm the dude. He's the
Okay,
dude.
very funny. I like your song, but whatever.
For us, dude.
Did you just hang up on me? God. Jesus Christ. Now I can see why Ed gets on everyone's nerves. He's a idiot. Hey guys, this is Byron Hazley here once again, and welcome back to another episode of Byron's Bios. And today is another good day, because I will be reviewing another movie that is a sequel to a movie based on a comedy sketch from All That, which hits differently now, like in a very negative way. But let's not disclose any of that. For those of you that don't know, I actually did a review on the first movie that was released in 1997, and boy, did we not know that there would be a sequel that would eventually come true. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm talking about Good Burger. So the sequel that we're about to review here in a sec is Good Burger 2, which came out like about a year and a half ago. And I did say last year that I was going to review it soon, but I couldn't do so until now because I had like other commitments and priorities going on, and I had to like give myself time to remember what the plot of the movie was compared to the first film. So the plot is where we get Ed, whose role is reprised by Kel Mitchell, who still works at Good Burger, living his life because, you know, he never changes. And they have a new manager and some new employees working at Good Burger. While Dexter Reed, whose role is reprised by Kenan Thompson, had quit his job at Good Burger after the events of the first movie and has become a failed interpreter. Although with the destruction of his home while testing his latest invention, he decided to move in with his old friend and coworker Ed, and decided to work with him again at Good Burger. And that is where they reunite and learn that while Dexter has changed a bit, Ed hasn't, which is why he has continued the legacy of his lifestyle working at a fast food restaurant, especially since he now has a family of his own. They end up meeting this guy named Cecil McNiven, portrayed by Little Rip Howery, who is a lawyer of this company called Megacorp, and he is willing to have Ed expanding his Good Burger restaurant to become a franchise. So they signed the agreement and they threw a franchise launch party. And when they did, Cecil had to confirm that the original Good Burger would be shutting down, and all the employees would be replaced by robots, which, spoiler alert, they're actually robotic clones of Ed, as part of the contract, which devastated the entire Good Burger staff and employees. Because of this, Dexter and Ed go to Megacorp to speak with the CEO of the company to get more answers about why they're phasing out humans doing their jobs at Good Burger, and to demand the company to rehire employees and reopen their flagship restaurant. And when they meet the CEO of Megacorp named Kat Boswell, portrayed by Jillian Bell, who is actually the sister of Kurt Boswell, which he was the main villain and the owner of Mondo Burger from the first movie. And the reason she has plans to close the original restaurant, rebrand the restaurant to Mega Good Burger, and replace all employees with robots, is that she wanted revenge on Good Burger itself for sending her brother to prison. I mean, you gotta look at it, because, a lot of companies nowadays are like, they're shifting the gears to anything digital and virtual, especially with robots being involved. And I mean, of course, it is based on what this world is going through, kind of. And clearly, Kat wanted to get rid of Ed because of his dim-witted mindset, even though he has kept the legacy of Good Burger going. So Ed, Dexter, and the rest of the Good Burger employees make plans to invade Megacorp and find certain ways to prevent Mega Good Burger from happening. And while doing so, Ed finds a way to destroy Mega Good Burger before it's too late. And once Megacorp opened all its locations in one day, and when Kat made her first order, one of the Ed robots threw food at her, and the rest of them worldwide created chaos and destruction. And it turns out that Ed hijacked the computer system for the robots to go haywire. And due to that evil corporate's failure, Megacorp itself shuts down, and Good Burger gets its ownership back, returning to the way it was. So that's basically the plot of Good Burger 2. So, let's be honest for a moment. This movie was somewhat highly anticipated, even if it's a movie that was only released directly to streaming service. When the trailer first dropped, it seemed promising, but it was popular for a few things. First off, everybody made fun of Kale Mitchell by pointing out that he looks like a middle-aged black woman. Like, okay, like, dude, this is Ed, but he's older. I mean, he may seem a little off because of his appearance, but he doesn't look too bad in my opinion. And the movie was also promoted constantly, like, literally constantly, like, almost as much as what the first Good Burger film did. For example, Arby's promoted the sequel with a Good Burger meal containing a good burger, good fries, and a good shake. I actually had it right around the time the movie was coming out, and it tasted good. Sure, fast food is not healthy, but I love their promotion. I mean, it was quite better than SpongeBob's Krabby Patty Meal promotion that Wendy's had last fall. Yeah, take that, Wendy's. There was even a video I saw on TikTok where this couple tries to get Good Burger, but Ed fools around, leading to the couple breaking up, and I thought that was funny, to be honest. The storyline was well done. In fact, it was almost like a reunion for the movie, where some of the original cast members reunited, while the second half focused on a business issue, which was a different issue from what it was in the first movie. Sure, not all sequels are considered good, but this one took a good sequel direction to the next level. It picked up from where it left off and continued with a new story, which is something that every sequel should do if it is done right. Hell, sequels like Shrek 2, Toy Story 2 and 3, and even The Godfather 2 and 3 took their storylines more seriously than most other sequels out there. And I thought they did a really good job making that storyline as good as possible. Not much to say about the comedy in the film, but there were some funny moments, but like, it wasn't as funny. I mean, the first movie was quite funny because it had a lot more moments in the film. And I mean, it could have been better, but it is what it is. Interestingly, there was some good music in the sequel. I liked how they used a different song for Roxanne, as if she was coming in as her grand entrance instead of the older version, since there's a different song of the same name. The rest is quite fine, not to mention I love Ed's song that goes, "I'm the dude, he's the dude, she's the dude, 'cause we're all dudes, hey!" And I still love it to this day. Dude. We all know this. But some cast members came back, while others didn't. For example, Keenan and Kel, Lori Beth Denberg, Josh Serter, and even Carmen Electra, who plays Roxanne in both the first and second movies, came back reprising their roles from the first film. Now, they did add a few cast members, including Ed's family. And you know, a few people came back in different roles, like cameos and voiceovers, and others that did not come back moved on. A few of them died, and others are just not allowed to come back making any Nickelodeon projects, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Surprisingly enough, Kurt Boswell didn't make a comeback since he's in jail, but like, we got to meet his sister, who was influenced by her brother because of the pure evilness. And speaking of Kurt, I wonder if Jen Schweinerman, who played Kurt Boswell in the 90s, will ever return in the third movie to get revenge on Ed and Dexter. Like where his character breaks out of prison. Oh wait, never mind. He actually died very recently. May he rest in peace. With the crew itself, there were other changes made. Unlike the first movie, Brian Robbins did not direct the second film, because, you know, he is now in charge of Paramount and Nickelodeon as the CEO. So instead, Phil Trail ended up being the director of the sequel, which is nice. Notably, based on what we all know, Dan Schneider is not involved in the sequel, like, at all. Not as the manager of Good Burger he played, nor as the writer of the film. Because for one, he is a creep, especially how he treated several actors and writers over the years, and Nickelodeon fired him in 2018 for that. And honestly, I'm glad that he's not involved in this because nobody likes him like most of us used to. And I'm glad as well that Brian Peck wasn't involved in this either, like the first movie where he played an upset customer. Plus, he is a child predator because of what he did to Drake Bell when he was a kid, and I'm glad that he got exposed on the docuseries from last year, quite on set, though let's not get into any of that. But with that being said, I feel like this sequel might end up aging better than the first one, as the first movie had a few cast members that turned out to be creeps in the end. And nobody wants to hire any predators. But unfortunately, that's been a tough case for Hollywood. Despite the difference between the first and second movies, everything else in the film was good, honestly. I mean, sure, it was a flop, but it was highly anticipated for the fans of Keenan and Kel, as well as All That and his very unpopular sketch, Good Burger. The acting is decent, the setting for the movie is really nice, and Ed himself may be a dumbass, but his personality is very memorable and hilarious, including his catchphrases like, "Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger, can I take your order?" Yeah, most of us will never forget that. Overall, I would definitely say that this movie was in the works for a while, and it is something that Paramount and Nickelodeon wanted to do ever since the success of the first Good Burger film. I mean, they waited 25 years to do this, and thanks to Brian Robbins, he wanted to get that over with. And I think they made the sequel at good timing because of how original the continuation of the storyline was, you know. I mean, Nickelodeon has been focusing on reboots for a while, especially sitcoms. And what Nickelodeon is doing mostly is that they've been bringing back older sitcoms, mostly from the Dan Schneider era. Because believe it or not, Robbins was actually friends with that creep. Well, despite that, he's doing really well with how they're rebooting certain shows. For example, All That got a reboot that only lasted for a couple of years. iCarly got a reboot series that only lasted for a few years as well, and one of the cast members of the show is interested in doing a movie based on iCarly. Zoe 101 got a reboot movie called Zoe 102, which I haven't seen that yet, but I might have to check it out eventually. Henry Danger is releasing its very own movie soon, and Victoria Justice is interested in doing a Victorious reboot. And there is a spin-off that Paramount is planning on making that will have Daniela Monet reprising her role as Trina. So that's interesting. Now, I know that Drake Bell and Josh Peck have tried to make the Drake and Josh reboot come to fruition, which they almost did once, and it did not go really well. But I know that people have been skeptical about it because of how both the guys were never friends and the past controversies of Drake Bell, which we will not get into. And now Drake is interested in doing it with the reunion. And by the way, I hope they do a Drake and Josh reboot someday. That would be cool. You know, because of Good Burger 2, I did watch the first Good Burger movie a couple times when I was a teenager, and I remember watching All That on TNIC when I was an adolescent, back when we had cable, as well as Kenan and Kel, which is actually my favorite sitcom of all time. Well, it was when I was an adolescent, and I loved All That from my adolescent years. It's been something. I want to thank Nick for rerunning that show several times. Other than that, with this sequel, I'm glad it was made. And you know, I thought Paramount and Nickelodeon did a great job making this reunion type of movie, but with a suspenseful type of story. And that's why I give Good Burger 2 a 4.5 out of 5. So if you haven't seen Good Burger 2 yet, go check it out on Paramount Plus. And if you are a fan of Kenan and Kel as well as Good Burger, I highly recommend it. Trust me guys, you will have as much fun taking a trip down memory lane with this sequel that has a new story in it as much as I did. And not to mention, but they're making a third Good Burger movie called Good Burger 3. And they have plans to make more sequels. And I'm looking forward to what the future of Good Burger will revolve. So that's it, my dudes and dudettes. This is my review on Good Burger 2. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Byron's Bios. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Until then, this is Byron Hazlett, aka Triple B 780, and aka Byron the Multiple Interests Man, signing off. Peace.